Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be in the books of the history of boxing for sure. That's for sure.
For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but it's gonna be difficult. You take it to your home.
I'm taking them. And ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight
and
night.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
But look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
Just 2 months remaining for the biggest fight and biggest face-off between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, and it's already getting out of control. Leaked footage, accusations, drug testing controversies, a smaller ring, and one fighter literally popping wheelies in training. This face-off could turn into a full-on brawl before the bell ever rings. The magnitude of this bout is staggering, not just in hype, but in cold, hard numbers. According to reports, the total purse for the event is a jaw-dropping $200 million, with Canelo allegedly taking home a massive $150 million cut. That's right, 3/4 of the entire pot is reportedly going to the Mexican superstar. Meanwhile, Crawford, the undefeated two-division, undisputed champion, shocked fans during a podcast appearance when he calmly stated, "I got $10 million for that fight."
I just want to know what number makes sense for you. What's fair?
I got $10 million for that fight.
That's a lie.
How you know that's a lie?
To fight Canelo?
Yeah.
That's a lie.
I'm doing it for the opportunity, baby.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
legacy.
Many couldn't believe it. Was he downplaying the payout? Was he trolling? Apparently not. Crawford doubled down, emphasizing that for him, legacy outweighs the money. The lead-up to the fight promises as much drama as the fight itself. A 3-stop promotional world tour has been scheduled, beginning June 20th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, before heading to New York and Las Vegas. And if early rumors are any indication, the tour won't just feature mic drops and camera flashes, it could become the emotional battlefield before the real war begins. With egos this large and history this significant, a heated face-off or even a pre-fight brawl is entirely possible. There's no sugarcoating it. Terence Crawford is walking into enemy territory, not just in the ring, but in the politics surrounding the fight. He's jumping 3 weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez, a man who has been fighting at super middleweight since 2018 and has even campaigned at light heavyweight. And yet, Bud accepted the challenge with no rehydration clause in the contract, a safeguard most fighters demand to prevent massive overnight size disparities. But Crawford isn't most fighters. His mindset is locked in on legacy, not comfort. In a now viral clip, Crawford grinned while declaring, "3-time undisputed, ooh-wee coming soon." For him, this fight is about doing something no male boxer in the history of the sport has done, becoming undisputed in 3 separate weight divisions.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
3-time undisputed. Ooh, coming soon.
That's when you retire, because basically there's nothing you could do after that. If you were able to get 3-time undisputed, 3 different weight classes, there's nothing you can accomplish after that, right?
Still, not everyone's convinced he's physically ready for this. Recent training clips show Crawford noticeably bulkier, trying to put on the size needed to contend with Canelo's natural frame. His hand speed is still there, his technique razor sharp. But online debates have erupted. Some say he looks stronger than ever. Others worry he's lost a step, slowed down by muscle mass and the toll of age. He's 37 now after all. The stakes are immense. Crawford isn't just preparing for a championship bout, he's bracing for a face-off that could get physical, especially with the weight of expectation, the money gap, and the psychological warfare already underway. If there's going to be a meltdown, Riyadh might be the spark that lights the fuse. While Crawford grinds quietly in the shadows, Canelo Alvarez is turning heads literally by popping wheelies on motorcycles during camp. The flashy stunt was caught on camera and quickly circulated across social media. To some, it was just a casual flex, a champion enjoying life and showing off confidence. To others, it was textbook psychological warfare, the kind of calculated showboating meant to rattle a focused opponent. Insiders and analysts are split. One camp believes Canelo is trying to bait Crawford, using his relaxed, carefree vibe to send a message. I'm unbothered. You're the one with everything to prove. Another view is less kind, suggesting that Canelo is masking pressure, even insecurity, behind the confidence. After all, this fight carries enormous stakes for him too. His legacy, his massive payday, and his status as the face of boxing are all on the line. Let's not forget, Canelo struggled in his last fight, failing to dominate William Skull the way many expected. Some insiders believe his aura of invincibility has dimmed slightly, and that he knows it. Flashy motorcycles and bravado could be smokescreens for deeper nerves. But here's what makes it all so volatile. While Canelo flaunts power and polish, Crawford is coming in like a man with something to prove and nothing to lose.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, double 1, catch a shot. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2.
The tension is mounting, and when these two finally meet face-to-face on that first promotional stop, the combination of ego, pride, legacy, and mind games could combust into something far beyond a stare-down. As if the weight gap and payout disparity weren't already enough, fight fans now have another red flag to question: the size of the ring. This upcoming super fight between Crawford and Canelo is reportedly taking place inside a ring that measures just 18 by 18 feet. A full 4 feet smaller than the traditional 22 by 22 championship rings used in high-level bouts for decades. Now, on paper, that might sound like a minor detail, but in boxing, it's everything. This decision has triggered immediate backlash, with critics calling it a movement ban. Smaller rings mean less space to maneuver, less room to evade pressure, and more forced exchanges. For pressure fighters like Canelo, who rely on cutting off the ring and punishing opponents in close quarters, it's a major advantage. But for slick movers like Terence Crawford, who thrives on rhythm, timing, and creating angles, it's a potential trap. Longtime boxing observers were quick to point out that no legendary fighter, not Muhammad Ali, not Floyd Mayweather, not Roy Jones Jr., ever competed in rings this small for a championship fight. The 22 by 22 standard wasn't just tradition, it was structure, designed to balance aggressive and defensive styles fairly. The fact that Turki Al-Sheikh, Saudi Arabia's entertainment authority leading the promotion, is involved in both the venue decisions and event organization has raised even more eyebrows. While not explicitly favoring one fighter over the other, critics argue that this ring decision doesn't benefit Crawford, especially when paired with the absence of a rehydration clause, a massive size disadvantage, and vocal fan expectations of a toe-to-toe wear.
Whoa, fight fans, the Alvarez-Crawford showdown just got spicier. No rehydration clause, that's huge. Alvarez could be packing an extra 20 pounds of power on fight night. But here's the million-dollar question. Will it matter against Crawford's supreme skills?
And let's not forget, promotional events like face-offs and weigh-ins also take place in the same smaller rings or mock rings. When tensions are already at a boiling point, being physically closer than usual with less space to retreat could make those moments even more combustible. Transparency matters, especially when reputations are on the line. On June 14th, Terence Crawford posted a photo proudly showing VADA testing officials arriving at his training camp. It was an early signal that he's ready, clean, and leaving nothing to speculation. Crawford even made light of the situation in a viral skit, joking that the testers showed up after he slapped his friend, world title contender Steve Nelson, so hard during a sparring prank that it looked suspicious.
Hey, I slapped Steven so hard. Yeah, that looked real. They here to test me for steroids.
Let's go. 1, 2. Damn, bud. Let's go. 1, 2. Damn, bud.
The humor was a welcome moment in an otherwise intense buildup, but the message was clear. Bud has nothing to hide. But here's where the narrative gets sticky. The there's been no public confirmation that Canelo Alvarez is undergoing the same level of testing. Despite repeated calls from fans for transparency, Canelo's team has not posted any VADA documentation, footage, or public statements indicating testing is underway. That silence hasn't gone unnoticed, especially given Canelo's past positive test for clenbuterol in 2018, which he and his team attributed to contaminated meat. Since then, Alvarez has passed multiple tests, but the skepticism remains, particularly when you consider that his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, has had multiple fighters under his camp also test positive for banned substances in the last few years.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's just shocking. I can't really comment on it, but yeah, it's pretty shocking. My perspective is, who's their trainer? I mean, if there's 4 fighters who are testing positive for whatever drug, well, who's the trainer?
To be clear, Canelo has not failed a drug test since 2018, and he remains a licensed, active, and highly respected competitor. But in a sport built on trust, where legacy is shaped not just by wins but by fairness, the lack of visible testing updates becomes part of the narrative. Crawford has faced that scrutiny head-on. Canelo so far has not responded publicly, and fans, especially those on social media whatever, are beginning to ask louder and louder. If Bud is being tested, where's Canelo's paperwork?
That's some pussy shit. That's some weak shit. Oh, you can't come in this much and shit. Oh, man, get the fuck out of here. It's boxing. You got on the scale, I made the weight, regardless when I come back, ass. Hey, you accepted the fight, let's get in there and fight like me. Simple as that.
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, has never been one to sugarcoat things, and this fight is no exception. Speaking to Ring Magazine, Bomac dismissed the idea of negotiating weight protection, saying, "We don't give a damn about that. You can only get so big. If you get too big, that's on him." In other words, Crawford doesn't want favors, and he definitely doesn't want excuses. And Bomac isn't alone in that mindset. Crawford's entire camp has embraced the "fight like men" mantra. No restrictions, no excuses, just raw skill versus raw skill. But it's hard to ignore that Bud is stepping into the most politically stacked ring of his life. He's not just fighting Canelo, he's fighting a weight disadvantage, a smaller ring, a hostile promotional atmosphere, a judging system that historically leans toward aggressors in close fights, and now potentially a gap in anti-doping transparency. It's the kind of uphill battle that would scare most fighters away, but that's exactly what's fueling Crawford. For him, this isn't just a fight, it's a takeover. A statement to the sport, the promoters, and the fans who still think defensive, cerebral boxing doesn't belong on the main stage. And if the lead up to this bout is already this dramatic, imagine what happens when they meet in person again, in an 18x18 pressure cooker, 2 feet apart with the world watching.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't know different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You gonna see.
We'll
you know
see.
it.
We'll see.
We're gonna
son.
see.
As the Canelo versus Crawford showdown inches closer, a deeper, uncomfortable narrative has reemerged. One that's long existed in boxing, but rarely gets addressed in mainstream coverage. And this time, it's being called out directly by fighters, fans, and analysts. For years, elite boxers like Floyd Mayweather Jr., Terence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney have been labeled by critics as runners, a dismissive term aimed at fighters who rely on movement, defense, and tactical brilliance to outsmart their opponents. But when those same tactics are employed by fighters like Lomachenko, Alexander Usyk, or Tyson Fury, they're celebrated as technical geniuses, chess players, or even the Matrix. That discrepancy hasn't gone unnoticed. Crawford himself recently addressed this, saying bluntly, "You don't like me moving because I make your favorite fighters miss." It wasn't a throwaway line. It was a direct challenge to a bias that many believe is rooted in long-standing double standards about how black fighters are perceived in contrast to their non-black counterparts. And now, with the 18x18 ring, the smallest used in a major championship fight in modern boxing history, some fans fear this is more than a coincidence. They see it as an attempt to neutralize slick fighters, a not-so-subtle way of forcing action by handicapping those who rely on space and footwork. To be clear, movement in boxing is not avoidance. It's an art. Muhammad Ali did it, Sugar Ray Leonard did it, Floyd perfected it, and Terence Crawford has elevated it to the modern era. Slipping punches, setting traps, switching stances mid-combination. That isn't running, that's brilliance. But when the ring shrinks, the risk is that nuance gets lost, spice, and the expectation becomes stand and trade or be labeled boring. That pressure, especially when paired with racial undertones, creates an environment where certain fighters are punished not for their performance, but for their style. In boxing, as in life, perception shapes reality. And in this fight, those perceptions may play a bigger role than ever before. It's a question that has quietly turned into a real concern. Will this face-off erupt into something more than words? The math is adding up fast. A $200 million purse where one man earns 15 times more than the other. No rehydration clause, creating an enormous physical advantage for Canelo, an 18 by 18 ring that's viewed by many as a trap, designed to limit Crawford's movement, and the lingering tension of PED controversies and testing transparency. This fight is no longer just a sporting contest. It's emotional, personal, political, cultural, and Terence Crawford has already shown what happens when lines are crossed.
Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Ooh-wee. I had to work for this one. MVP, baby. MVP. Came out here, had to hoop him up, man.
Just weeks ago, at a celebrity basketball event hosted by 50 Cent, Crawford found himself in a confrontation with R&B singer Trey Songz over a friendly wager that turned hostile. What started as a lighthearted jump shot contest quickly escalated when Trey refused to pay up, provoking Crawford, who, by his own admission, almost lost it. It took 50 Cent himself stepping in to keep things from boiling over. That's the same Crawford walking into Riyadh on June 20th, face-to-face with a man many fans feel has been handed every advantage. If Canelo, even unintentionally, downplays Crawford's legacy, questions his status, or throws shade about money or power, there's a real chance things could snap. This wouldn't be the first time a press tour got physical. Think back to Mayweather versus Ortiz, Tyson versus Lewis, or Chisora versus Hay. Face-offs are part theater, part strategy. But when genuine animosity brews under the surface, even the best promoters can't script what happens next. Add in the smaller ring, the intimate distance, the cultural and career stakes, and you have a face-off that's less of a photo op and more like a lit fuse just waiting for a spark. With just 2 months to go, the pressure surrounding Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford has grown beyond boxing. This is no longer just a title fight. It's a collision of styles, egos, legacies, and unspoken tensions that have finally boiled to the surface. One man is fighting for legacy, for history, the other for dominance, pride, and a record-breaking payday. But both are walking into a ring too small for their ambitions to coexist peacefully. And that's the question now hanging over this entire promotion. Will fists fly before the bell rings? The world will find out when Crawford and Canelo finally stand nose-to-nose in Riyadh on June 20th. Let us know your thoughts and comments.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
but look, it's going to be very difficult. He's going to be so mad that day. Believe me.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you.
Alright guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content, and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.